folks, it's Kaypacha with the weekly Pele report. So much going on, and today was the first day in many, many years that I didn't even know it was Wednesday and I had to do a Pele report. Woo! Just got home last night, so let's just see what's going on with the bananas. July 5th, 2017. The moon is in Sagittarius. Nice time for international traveling. Oh yeah. Friday, yeah, she goes into Capricorn. There we go. Can you see that? There's bunch number 1. And she comes up to a whopping full moon. I mean, the big thing I'm going to be talking about here today, yes, is of course the moon is going to be coming up to conjunct with Pluto. And we know that Mars was opposite Pluto, and now the sun is opposite Pluto. We are going to have a full moon, and it's going to be a moon conjunct Pluto opposite the sun conjunct Mars. That's on Saturday, folks. Get ready for a wild, intense freaking weekend. Oh my goddess. And I mean, the big other thing I want to talk about is that this Mars, okay, is also just like moving through this whole entire week. You see that other bunch of bananas back there? 3 freaking, they're not bunches. They're, shit, I forget the name of it. Look at, get up there as close as I can. It's a yod. Mars is in a yod with Saturn and the south node of the moon. Mars going through Cancer, 22, 23, 24 degrees. Saturn is up there in Sagittarius, okay, at 23, and the south node of the moon is at 24 Aquarius. So we've got a Sag-Aquarius sextile, okay, Saturn sextiling the south node of the moon, and then Mars coming up to square it. And, you know, shortly after that, Mars is going to come into squaring Uranus and trining Chiron, but that's next week's report, really. I just want to talk, so those are the major aspects. I would say, last but not least, of course, is that, you know, today, like right now, the sun is square to Jupiter. And, you know, that's the kind of thing you feel for at least a week, okay? That's, you know, so that has been going on. It will be going on through this whole thing, bringing just what? More, and more. So let's get into it, yeah? All right, I don't want to get too casual here. I mean, I try to make these reports professional, you know. I was just talking to Blair. I met Blair. Hi, Blair. You know, on Salt Spring Island, and he looks at my camera, and guess what? I put foam, you know, instead of putting it over the microphone on this camera, I put it over the 2 speakers. I thought that the speakers were microphones. So, like, I'm like, you know, people complain about the wind noise, you know, so I go, I put foam on the microphone, and there shouldn't be any wind noise. It's been on the freaking speakers, man. So I'm going to put foam on the microphone from now on. How about that? I mean, life is just getting better all the freaking time. Oh, boy. Yeah, I mean, it's like, what these times are such the struggle that, you know, that I can see happening here. Sun square Jupiter, Sun in Cancer. Okay, it's Sun Mars in Cancer, squaring Jupiter. What's that? Lazy. You know, it's like, you know what? I just kind of want to lay in bed. I want to take a bath, you know, kind of, you know, pamper myself a little bit and, you know, make love with my lover or something, and just, you know, Jupiter and Libra ruled by Venus. Okay, Cancer, home, my inner child. You know, let's just bake I mean, this is, you know, this is a great month for baking and barbecues and, you know, inviting friends over for parties and celebrations. It's really great. And then what, you know? Oh, I gotta clean up. You know, the backyard is a mess, the kitchen is a mess, but I really don't feel like doing the dishes right now. And it's just kind of these can be kind of like, you know, I just want to be lazy, laid back days. The downside of it, right, is number one, this yod that I'm going to be talking about here with, you know, Mars, Saturn, south node of the moon, but also the sun and Mars being opposite Pluto. And it's just like, and this is where, you know, this whole mantra comes out of this, you know, this week. It's like the system, the job, the rent, okay, having the office, or, you know, paying for the website or the marketing materials, or, I mean, it's just like, you know, our professional career, the outside world, the office that we hold, you know, our reputation or our desire to make an impact. I mean, everybody wants to have an impact, especially this north node of the moon in Leo. Leo wants to leave a legacy. I want this world to be a different place because I was here. And here's a year and a half of the north node in Leo. This is a future time. Yeah, the future's really pointing for each and every one of us to get in touch with our unique special offerings and our unique special gifts, you know, and creatively make a change. Woo! But first you got to pay the rent. You got to buy food. You got to, you know, have transportation. You know, you may need to upgrade your computer, or, you know, pay for your, you know, website, you know, fees and bills, utilities. Yeah, it's like, it can be a little bit on the demanding side, and here is where we come into what? The defunct system. And this is where I came up with, yeah, you know, it's like, it's time to change the system. Let's just really look at some of the bigger overall pictures and the bigger overall plans, and this is part of this yod. Mars in conjunct the south node of the moon in Aquarius. We need to be looking at the bigger, wider, broader plan. And the south node of the moon, K2, okay, it has to do a little bit with the negative aspects or elements. So the negative aspects, elements of society, we need to look at and see and address with Saturn up there in Sagittarius, is a new future plan, so that we don't repeat the same mistakes of our forefathers, and we don't keep going around and around and around and creating systems, institutions, governments, yeah, that are not meeting the needs of humanity. And we just look at this. We just look at the Federal Reserve System. It's a bank. It's not part of the government in the United States of America. And what it does is it prints money, and as soon as it gives the money to the government to distribute, it charges an additional like 10%. So we start out in debt. There is no end to debt when we are using the current dollar system of, you know, of currency. Do you get that? All you gotta do is watch the movie Zeitgeist. Yeah, you know, it's super freaking clear. And I think Addendum is the second one that's more about the money and the banking and the power, and how the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers and you know, all of the J.P. Morgans and all these group, it's like 13 families or something, running the whole frickin' planet. And enslaving all of the people from the day you're born. Yeah? It's like you're born on this planet into slavery. And this is part of what this age of Aquarius is about, is liberation and change and bringing in, yeah, new systems. These systems are not working, and as long as we are feeding these systems, we are part of the problem. If you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. It was absolutely wonderful to be up there. I visited my sister there on Vancouver Island. She wakes up in the morning. Her whole yard is a garden. She picks her raspberries, okay, makes her nut milk, and I mean, just like does everything. Hardly goes grocery shopping. Yeah. I go out to Salt Spring Island. Everybody's growing food out there. It's all about permaculture. I come down here to Costa Rica. It's all about permaculture. It's all about living sustainably off-grid. Yeah? My daughter's over there in Earth Haven. Oh, speaking of which, I'm giving a workshop with Tim Holleran in Asheville, North Carolina at the end of August. Somebody said I should mention that on the Pele Report. I don't get to the East Coast very often. This is the only time I'm going to get to the East Coast of the U.S. here in 2017. And I don't know about 18, but, so many places to see. I like to go places I've never been before. But this is going to explore the shadow elements of Lucifer and Lilith in particular. But we have shadow elements all throughout the natal birth chart. And Pluto is one of them. So let's get back on track with the Pele Report here, yeah? This full moon in opposition to Pluto, the moon moving through Capricorn. External authorities and the systems and the government and Pluto, the big deep pockets and the bankers and the, the Illuminati. It's just like, boom, boom, boom. You've got to do this and pay up and, blah, blah, blah. It's, this whole axis of Capricorn and Cancer is seeking security. Security. It's like we want to be secure. And let's face it, man, we're not. These times are not secure. Yeah? There's a lot of greed. There's a lot of self-interest. Okay? There's a lot out here that's been kind of implanted, that we're kind of born into a condition, a situation that we are here to change. So the first thing we need to do is identify it. And that's the second part of this mantra, yeah? That starts with me being able to see without illusions, without pretending, without rose-colored glasses, like everything's going to be okay. Bullshit. Everything's not going to be okay if we're sitting on our asses, okay? And going from festival to festival, and doing the happy stuff and doing all the dancing and the singing and the this and the that. There is this is this axis. Cancer calls for personal security. And for some of that personal security, we've got to do our Saturn in Sagittarius, our Lilith in Sagittarius. You just wait. I'll tell you what's going on right now. Is this Sun, Mars is moving through Cancer, blah, 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 blah. Towards the end of July, this Sun-Mars conjunction is going to move into Leo. And it's going to come out. And the fireworks are going to start. And it's really going to be something. Yeah, and they're going to come around, okay, to that solar eclipse. Okay, it's going to be a Sun-Mars North Node total solar eclipse happening in Leo, the fire sign. And so it's really time. What's happening now is we may be simmering and we may be feeling kind of uncomfortable or kind of insecure or kind of maybe even angry and upset that, like, why can't I get ahead? Okay, or why is there a shortage? Yeah, why am I not living in the abundance? Okay, and the prosperity that I imagine and that I know is possible. And it's just like we've got a broken system. And Cancer can stay home and cry about it. But I'll tell you what, this full moon conjunct Pluto up in Capricorn is saying, get our butts out there. And the way that I see it happening And, I'll just put, myself out there. It's like, what? We got this whole Pluto in generation, Pluto in Virgo, generation, a whole soul group. Okay, and then we got another soul group of Pluto in Scorpio. Okay, particularly I'm looking at these two generations, these two soul groups. Okay, kind of born from like what, 57 to 72, and then again like 84 to 96. Okay, these, if you're in that age group right now, if you were born during those years, what's happening is, what does the broken system do? The broken system makes people sick. People are stressed out. People are sick. People are unhealthy. And they're overworked and they're drained. And then they seek, drugs, alcohol, and all kinds of situations, okay, to escape and, their situation. And it's just like, so we have this Pluto in Virgo. It's a whole generation of people that are healers. Yeah, this is coming in, the healing arts. And then we have what? That whole Pluto in Scorpio generation. The shamans, the therapists, okay? The people that are really here to deal, with bottom of the barrel, suicidal tendencies and despair, and, just like really, helping people to completely transform their lives and resurrect. So to me, okay, what we can do is, as a generation or as soul groups of people bringing in this age of Aquarius, the age of Aquarius is about, yes, developing our healing arts and our healing capacities. And whether they are dance, music, art, massage, acupressure, all forms of alternative food, nutrition, yoga, exercise, adventure, entertainment. Think of it. Just make it into a therapy. Make it into something, right, that we can market. And this is going to draw people from the cubicles, from their air-conditioned, glass buildings, okay, and from the cities, and from the, all the dragon. It's like pulling them out of the dragon, out of the prison, okay? And they first get exposed to the spiritual reality. It's great. On the plane, on the way home, man, I watched this movie, Doctor Strange. You got to check it out, man. Awesome. It was really great. I think it was a new release. It was under action and adventure because I like the action and adventure, but fucking Doctor Strange, man, really opens, here's a mainstream neurosurgeon, hotshot, smartass, and, he gets all messed up. I don't want to give away the whole thing, but, he finds, some teachers and some teachings about a greater picture, a greater reality. So we work on ourselves, and when we work on ourselves, we open our third eyes, we open our crown chakras, we are able to see, okay, what needs to be done here, and it's like, okay, people need to be lifted, they need to be awakened, and how are they going to get lifted or awakened? Well, they're broken and they're miserable and their bodies are falling apart, and it's creating mental disorders and distresses and sexual perversions and all kinds of crap going on, and it's like, hello. If you want to, make a change and make a positive impact and make an effect, we can open up people to alternative beliefs, alternative viewpoints, alternative ways of looking at the world, alternative lifestyles, and the way in is by healing and is by really bringing them something that they need and makes them feel good. When wisdom makes you feel good, you're gonna learn. You're gonna become wise in order to feel good. You know what I'm saying? So we have this. It's a dilemma, and we can feel oppressed. This full moon period, we can feel oppressed, like, oh my God, it's like I'm never going to get out of the hole, or I'm never going to. But what we've got to do is we've got to create North node of the moon in Leo is, this is a time, it's a very creative time. And as the more we tap into our creative potentials, the more we, do our yoga and meditations and open up our consciousness to see, okay, where we can be relevant, where we can be useful, where we are needed, and we plug into that, and that's how you make your money, and you charge, for your healing arts, and before you know it, yeah, we unplug from the system, and the system just kind of, the system kind of peters out and falls out the more people are drawn away from it. It's not about fighting the system, overcoming the system, rebelling against the system. It's about, it's like about drawing, attracting everybody away from the system, and it will collapse all by itself. So let's get creative, move into roles of leadership and healing, and we don't have to, worry about, violence and rebellion and all this kind of thing. It's starting to rain on me. I'm going to wrap it up, man. What is that mantra again? Yeah, it's time to change the system. Come up with a whole new plan that starts with me being able to see into the future of man. Self-development, opening the awakening, developing the creative potential, offering it to the rest of our brothers and sisters, attracting our brothers and sisters away from the death-defying monster of the system, and before you know it, well, maybe not before you know it, if we're freaking lucky, maybe a little bit before we die. But think of what we're doing for the future generations. Go for it. One more time. It's time to change the system. Come up with a whole new plan. That starts with me being able to see the future into the future. Man, go for it. Enjoy. Namaste. Aloha. So much love.